imposed by one country on the goods and services imported from another country. On the 1st of September 2019, the US government imposed a 15% tariff on a large number of Chinese products. The exchange rate between the US dollar and Chinese yuan or at this time was the following. Now, guys, would you all agree that the Chinese currency is the big number and the US currency is the small number? Agreed? So, for example, 100 US dollars would be 770 in Chinese currency. They're worth the same, but the Chinese number is always bigger than the US number. Agreed? Are we all in agreement? Great. All right. Now, so the deal is, what I'm asking you guys is, Chinese, is that the big or the small number? That's the big number. So when you convert it, it has to turn into a small number. So you have two choices. You can either multiply or divide by the exchange rate. You can either divide by 7.17 or you can multiply by 7.17. Which option do you think you take and why? Whatever. Yes, sir? Okay, but just a more regular way of doing it would be you have a choice between multiplication or division. Let's try both answers out and you choose which answer you're going to take. So can somebody divide 28 by 7.17? What? 3.91. We're claiming it's $3.91. I think that answer makes sense. Why does it make sense? US number has to be smaller than the Chinese number. Is that okay? Alright. Here we go. Next thing we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to do the tariff. So what you can do this two different ways, okay? The first way you can do it is you can get 15% of 3.91 and you can take it away. Whatever that answer is, take it away from €3.91. So can somebody do that for me now? 15% of 3.91. Anybody got an answer? What? 59 cents. 0.59. And then take it away from 3.91. You have to take it away then. What? No, you have to take it away. So can somebody take that away, please? What you get? €3.32. So it's not euro, it's dollars, right? Does anybody have a more direct way of doing that? Will I show you a direct way of doing it? You can multiply it by 85 cents. 85%. So if you multiply it by 85%, it automatically takes the 15% away. So what you get when you multiply by 85%? Somebody do that directly. 3.91 multiplied by 85%. What you get? And 32. So what I want you to learn from this is, if I multiply something by 80%, guess how much I'm losing? You're losing 20%. If I multiply something by 95%, how much are you losing? You're losing 5%. If you multiply something by 105%, you're increasing it by 5%. Alright. Now, part C. Phone cases were sold in the US market for €6.45 each. Calculate the percentage profit that the company makes. So, profits divided by costs multiply by 100. Are we cool with that? Okay. Phone cases, yeah? So how much does a phone case cost us again? So, now it costs us €3.32. Okay? So, what we're going to say is €3.32. Now, take that away from 6.45 to find the profit. How much are we making per phone case? Anybody know? €3 and it's not €3 and 23 cents. Oh, sorry, $3.23. My fault. €3 and 13 cents. Yeah. Now you put that over the cost. Who's the cost? Profit is €3 and 13 cents. So what's the cost? €3 and 32, and then multiply that by 100. So we do that calculation now. 3.13 divided by 3.32 multiplied by 100. Number 94%. A printer is priced at 29% profit. Was retailing at this much. What was its cost price? Would you all agree that we sold it at an extra 29%? So what percentage do you think I should write down? Somebody said it. I should write down 129%. Okay. Then I should find out what 1% is. So you all divide €199.95 by 129 and tell me what you get. You can have it as a fraction if you want. What? 31 over 20? Okay. I think that's like €1 and 55 cents, is it, when you change it to decimal? Is it 1.55? Okay. Now multiply that by 100 to make it 100 times bigger, back to 100%, which was your cost price. So what you get? 155. Okay. The dollar sign. Could potentially lose. As the September progressed, the exchange rate changed to 7.1. Did the cost in US companies increase or decrease as a result? Okay, we can do this quite easily, alright? So, what was the exchange rate? What was the exchange rate? 7.71, was it? 7.17. Okay, let's think of it this way, okay? One day it's 7.17 and the next day it's 7.1. For argument's sake, make up a number that's easy. Imagine we wanted to buy something that was worth 100 Chinese currency. Okay? So let's divide it by the old currency exchange. So will everybody do 100 divided by 7.17? So 100 divided by 7.17, what do we get? Anybody? 13 points. Okay, now I want you to do 100 Chinese currency divided by the new exchange rate, 7.1. What you get? 14.1. Okay, so using the example we just did changing it to 7.1 make it cheaper in US dollars or more expensive in US dollars? So there's your increase and there's your justification. Okay, Ashton's dairy farmer, she houses cattle indoors and collects slurry in a concrete slurry tank as shown below. Tank is open and has an external length of 12 meters, an internal width of 6 meters and a height of 2.5 meters. The four walls have thickness of 0.25. And what this person wants to know is the external surface area of the slurry tank. Now, I assume we're probably counting the floor as well, are we? So, did anybody get 2.5 multiplied by 12? What you get for that? 30 here and 30 at the back. Can you then do 6 multiplied by 2.5? 15 at the front and 15 at the back. Is that okay? And then what about the bottom one? 6 by 12? Anybody? 72? Okay. Shh. So guys, and I should get 30 plus 30 is 60, 15 plus 15 is 90, 90 plus 72, 162 meters squared. Okay. They're not interiors I'm doing. They're actually exterior. The 30 is meant to be outside, and that 15 is meant to be outside. Is that okay? Now, the 72 is on the bottom, not the actual visible area. It's actually underneath. Yes.
Where'd you get the 30 from?
2.5 multiplied by 12. This thing here. 2.5 multiplied by 6. And I got the 72 by multiplying 6 by 12. Okay. Twice. Now, it wants to find the internal volume of the tank. Everybody got it? Now, here's the deal. The internal lengths are different. So, does everybody see this? Everybody see this red line here? What length is that red line, do you think? It's not 30 anymore. What's the thickness of the tank again? 0.25. So it's 12 take away 0.25 twice. So what's the red line? 11.5. Now, shh. Do you see this green line? Do you see that green line? I think you only have to take it away once this time. Why do you only have to take it away once? There's no lid. It's only the bottom part that you have to worry about the thickness of. So you get 2.5 and you take away 0.25, and what's that? 2 points. Yes, what's up? Okay, I'll check it out in the marking scheme, but that's what I would do. Okay, so the assumption the marking scheme, we don't want that. Okay, the assumption the marking scheme's making is that we don't actually know the thickness of the base, so we're not going to worry about it. So we're going to leave it as 2.5. I think they would have given full marks for 2.25 as well. Okay, now the next thing we're going to look at is the, what's it called? We're going to look at this length here. Does anybody know how to find that green length, which is the same as this green length here? Huh? Yeah, 6 minus 0.25 twice 5.5. So we now have the length is 11.5, the width is 5.5, and for some reason the height is still 2.5, which means it didn't take it into consideration. So guys, will you guys multiply that out for me and let me know? So what you get, guys? Now what you get, guys? What? 158 meters. Okay. 158 meters cubed. But I don't get full marks for that because it wants it in. Wants the answer in liters. So I'm going to have to multiply that by 1,000. And then what do I get? 158,000 liters. And once again, I'll be checking my stuff here. Apparently that's not right. Apparently it's 158,125. Can you guys check your calculation again for me? Okay, it's 158.125. And that is why you check your answers immediately. So it's actually 125 liters. Okay. We all cool? Okay. Part C. When this tank is 80% full, Ashton wants to recycle the slurry by using it to fertilize fields. Before spreading, the slurry must be diluted with water. The ratio that Ashton uses is 5 parts water to 2 parts slurry. How many liters of water required to dilute this much slurry? Okay. Is that container full of slurry currently? Well, it only contains slurry, but it's 80%. the tank only contains slurry and the tank is 80% full. Are we all in agreement with that? So we get our last answer. What's our last answer? 125. And I'd like you to multiply that by 80%. Please be careful and give me the correct answer this time. So what do we get? It's 126,500 litres, yeah? Okay. Now, that's how much slurry I have. And what it says is 5 parts water to 2 parts slurry. So this essentially means 2 parts. It's 2 parts slurry, isn't it? 2 parts equals 126,500 litres. How much do you think 1 part will be? 63,200 and then how much do you think 5 parts will be? 5 times bigger. What you get? Multiply that by 5, lads. 3,116 euro at 316,250 litres. Pause. Now, how many litres are in the slurry solution when the slurry and water have been mixed together? I suppose we best add the two of them together, yeah? That's the amount of slurry. That's the amount of water. Can we just add those two numbers together for me real quick? Yeah. Okay, done. Next one. Oh God, look at this. Ashton has a slurry spreader. It's in the shape of a cylinder with length 4 meters and diameter of 180 centimeters. Calculate the capacity of the spreader to the nearest liter. Well, first of all, I don't really like that 180. Can anybody tell me why? So what are we saying? 1.8. Okay. What type of shape is it? What's another word for capacity? Therefore, using those key words, what formula should I be looking for? Volume of a cylinder. H, yeah. And then, from there, now please remember, guys, even if you got all the other questions wrong till now, this is an independent question, isn't it? You can still get full marks here. How many of you just didn't even put down the formula? That's no 10 marks because you have no formula. Okay? Now here we go. We go for pi. What's the radius? It's not 1.8. 0.9y. And then put in 4 here. Alright, somebody give me an answer for that. Yeah, sorry. 0.9, yeah. So somebody give me an answer for that. 10.18. Did you put pi in as well? So is anybody else verify 10.18 meters cubed? Okay. One problem with my answer. Nearest. I think it told me earlier in the exam that 1 meter cubed is the same as. So let's do that. Then I get 10,180 litres. Alright guys, so the markings, what did they get? Did you use the proper pi button or did you use 3.14? So pi 0.9 squared 4. Yeah. 17 what? 179. Yeah, so they got what they got. So you rounded off unnecessarily there. So it's 10,178. And then I multiply that by 10 by 1,000. I got 10,000. Ah, is a rounding error. Because if you use more decimal places, what would you have gotten? You would have got 179. To the nearest liter. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Now, shh, the slurry spreader is traveling on public roads. Ashton does not fill it fully for the safety purposes. She fills it to 8/9 of its capacity. How many trips are necessary to spread all the solution from C part 2? Now, what was our answer from C part 2? 442, 750? Shh. Okay. That's our goal, isn't it? Agreed? Okay. Now, sorry, it's up here. Shh. Alright. Now, guys, the answer of the last question. Can you get 8/9 of, what was the answer to the last question? 10,179. Is that okay? So I want you to multiply by 8 and divide by 9 and give me the answer. So that's how much slurry we're going to take in each time. 9,048 litres. Is that what you got? Times it by 8 and divide by 9. Or just do 10,179 multiplied by 8 over 9. It'll do the same thing. Now guys, every time we make this journey, we transport 9,048 litres. But in total, we want to transport 442,750 litres. So can you divide the blue bubble by the red bubble, please, to get your full answer on how many trips we're going to need? Forty-eight point what? What? 48.93. That doesn't, 48 trips doesn't get it done. You're going to need 49 trips. Because you have to round upwards, no matter what. Because you need more than 48. And the next whole number is 49. Guys, shh. After the land has been fertilized, Ashton will be sowing seeds later in the year. One of the seed pellets is in the shape of a sphere and has a volume of this much. Find the radius of the seed pellets. Okay. What's the key word, guys? Who wrote down 4 over 3 pi r cubed? Okay. You ready for this? Your goal of the question is to get r cubed on its own. How'd you do that? If it's multiply on the left, it's divide on the right. So just divide by 4 over 3 pi. So can somebody give me an answer for that in a minute? 523.6 divided by 4 over 3 pi. And then, what number when you multiply it by itself 3 times gives you 125? So you use what button in your calculator? Cube root of 125. It's 5 millimeters. Right, here we go. Ashton used a tractor to spread the seed pellets across a large field. This field is 4.5 kilometers away from the farm. Her tractor travels at an average speed of 30 kilometers an hour on a road and covers 2 hectares an hour when spreading seeds in fields. If the field is 5 hectares in size and Ashton leaves at 8 a.m., what time does she return to the farm if she works from without a break? Okay, guys, I have an idea. Would you agree there's 2 sections here? She has to travel to work, which is 4.5 kilometers divided by 30 kilometers an hour. She has to travel home, which is another 4.5 kilometers divided by 30 kilometers per hour. However, while she's at work, she has to cover 5 hectares, and she does 5 hectares she does 2 hectares per hour. So here's what we're going to do. Can somebody tell me what 4.5 divided by 30 is? What? Now, so what we're going to do, guys, is the following. We're going to do 4.5 divided by 30, okay? But the problem with time is in it's not in hundredths, it's not metric system. So there's a button for this. See this button above the plus sign? Shift that button there. And it's 9 minutes. Does everybody see that? It's 9 minutes. 3/20ths of an hour is 9 minutes. Because you can multiply it by 60 and it'll turn into. So that takes 9 minutes. This takes 9 minutes. What's 5 divided by 2? Would you agree it's 2.5 hours? And once again, if I do that in my calculator, if I do 5 divided by 2, I get that. And then if I just press, if I press shift on this button here, press execute, 2 hours and 30 minutes. Shh. Now guys, how long was that in total then? Would you all agree with 2 hours and 48 minutes? 18 minutes for the travel and 2.5 hours for the job. 1 second. Then you leave the house at 8 a.m. So 8 a.m. plus 2 hours and 48 minutes is 10:48. Okay.